What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Canadian Jail War Stories. We're back here with another interview with my girlfriend, Endlessly.
All right, what's up? All right, here we go with Endlessly Interviews Eddie, part 4. So ready? Anything to say before we begin, Eddie?
Nope, just to the real ones that keep viewing and liking the videos, I appreciate it very much. And you know who the real ones are. We rock with the real ones, LTF all day long.
Voting on the community tab too.
Yeah,
Fire.
you guys voting on the community tabs, so go check that out if you haven't already.
All right, here we go. First question is not necessarily prison related, but it's great advice. So here we go, Eddie. Right. Question 1. Best advice for another content creator?
Okay. I'd say the best advice for another content creator is going to be something that a content creator told me, which was really good advice back then when I first started YouTube over a year ago. And it's to let these trolls that do their business go in one ear and out the other, and don't engage with these trolls, because they're going to do anything they can to get you off your game. And when they see you react and get off your game, they like it, and they actually it feeds them, it feeds the fire. So basically what you want to do is mind your own business and just keep it straight in your own lane, and don't take heart to the trolls and the comment section. Don't think the comment section is the end of the world. Okay.
Listen to that, because it's very true. We've been going through a lot lately, and Eddie knows what's up. So, all right, here we go with the prison questions. Question number 2. All right, so which jails or prisons are feared most in Ontario?
The jails that I would say that are the ones that are feared most would be, I'd say at least for sure, the penitentiaries are going to be like Collins Bay and Joyceville, right? And the SHU, which is Special Handling Unit. Those are the three. Millhaven Reception, okay, Joyceville Reception, there's Joyceville Penitentiary, Collins Bay Penitentiary, and then they have.
Side right now.
What? I can't hear. I hear this. I don't hear nothing.
Okay, sorry. I was just gonna say, what a coincidence.
No, oh, you hear police? No.
Downtown Vegas. Yeah, I don't know. Go ahead. Sorry.
The SHU is Special Handling Unit. That's where you go if basically you can't be in any other jail because you're too violent and you're too bad and they want to punish you. The SHU is basically where you're in the hole 24/7 hours a day. You don't get out. It's like a jail that you're in the hole the whole time you're there. So that's what that jail is, specifically for guys that are permanently in the hole. And that's how they do their bids out in the SHU. And that's probably the worst place, the most feared place, because like it's basically like you're in the hole 24/7. So yeah, and then so the jails, it would be like the Don Jail, the super jails. The super jails are like Maplehurst, and I'd say Lindsay and Penetang aren't as feared as Maplehurst. The Don Jail and the West Detention and the Maplehurst are probably the most feared ones in the city, in the 6 here. And then I told you about the penitentiaries. They're in Ontario, but they're not in Toronto. They're on the outskirts. I think they're in Kingston, Ontario.
That's leading to the next question.
Kingston used to be a big pen here, but then as time went on, when my dad and them were doing time and all the older guys, my uncles, Kingston pen was a normal pen. But nowadays I've heard nothing but bad about it, that a lot of PCs go there. So.
All right, so here we go with question 3, because this is kind of okay. Canada and the United States have different names for lockup. Can you explain that, please? This is
a serious one. This is a serious topic. Okay, now in the US you guys call jails your county jails, and you call prison where you go for long periods of time, right? Now, the only way I can explain this is we have a different name for prison. Okay, prison here we refer to as the penitentiary. Now, your guys' prison is where it's a year or more. Okay, you guys go there if it's a year or more. Here, it's 2 years or more. And the thing is, we don't get bail here as much as you guys just get bail by a bail's bondman, or they give you your bail right away. And if you have the money, you can get out the same day. Here, you have to go to the police station for the night, and it's basically like almost like a trial. to get your bail here, to get a bail here. And it's very show cause hearing. It's really hard to get a bail unless it's your first time. And so jails here is a little different, and we call the jails here, we even refer to like jails here as prison sometimes. So when we say prison or jail here, we're kind of saying the same thing. And when we say penitentiary in Canada, we mean the pen. So we won't say prison. We'll always say, yo, is he in the pen or is he in jail? You know, and we don't, or is he in the pen or is he in prison? You know, so it's a little confusing because the jails here are called, we have jails here now called super jails, which the United
That's
States probably
when you,
doesn't have. I know they want to open up a bunch of them, but they've opened up 3 here in Ontario already, which is Maplehurst, Lindsay, and Penetang. These jails are super jails, and what I mean by that is they're basically very, very large, where a normal jail would be like a lot less inmates and a lot less time that you would do there, right? Like I see a lot of these guys in our jails and our super jails sit there for 3-4 years at a time before they're even sentenced, you know. And we used to have a thing called 2 for 1 before Harper came into government, where we would get 2 for 1 if we did dead time before our trial. So everybody wanted to do the dead time to get 2 for 1 because it worked out where you get out way before you would if you went to the pen, right? Because you get out in 2/3 is your statutory release. Like you're able to get out in 2/3 once you're sentenced, but if you lose your good time, you lose your good time. But most of the time, you get out in 2/3 once you're sentenced. The 2 for 1 beats that 2/3. You understand? So people wouldn't want to get sentenced and go to the pen and get out on their 2/3 because that's not the quickest way to get out. Quickest way to get out was to sit there and do dead time, which is, in my opinion, way harder time than being in the pen. Yes, the pen is dangerous and they play for keeps. And in Collins Bay and Joyceville, yes, people get killed. And yes, it's a lot more serious. There's not fights every day where, you know, of course, it's going to be more serious when someone comes after you. But it's a lot more things to do, a lot more to keep your mind off of stuff. Inside your cell, you're allowed to have a game console, a TV. You know, you're allowed to have things like that that'll keep your mind off of fighting. You know, it keeps stuff. I just think it's a lot more like stuff that you have access to. So when you're doing time like 3-4 years in a jail, these super jails, you're in an orange jumper. You don't have your own clothes. You're literally sitting there. Picture Rikers Island. Okay, when I talk about a jail here in Toronto. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about your little county jails where guys are in there and it's soft and this and that. The jails here in the city are like, we got super jails, and then we had the Don jail, which closed down, which they replaced it with the Toronto South. So we have the West, which is now immigration. It used to be one of the main jails. And we have the East. So basically, super jails here have even been referred to as prisons. So it's very, very confusing with the terminology between Canada and the US when we come to saying prison, jail, and the penitentiary, okay? So from now on, when you watch the channel, if I refer to what you guys think is prison, what you guys call prison, like a 4-yard or whatever, I'm going to refer to that as a penitentiary because that's what we refer to it as here in Canada, okay? If you're going for 20 years to the penitentiary, that's where you go, okay? So here, you could probably be in jails until you're done your trial, okay? Some guys keep putting it over and over and over and put over their trials, especially if they're on like a murder charge. I've seen bikers sit in the jail, these super jails, for 4 or 5 years, racking up dead time, get 10 years knocked off their 20-year sentence or whatever, and then go to the penitentiary for 10 years and get out on their 2/3, right? Which is a big chunk of time off of your sentence, right? So doing it a lot more treacherous, it's a lot more fighting, it's a lot more violent, and you don't have nothing, so it's a lot more, it's more punishment, I think. Like you don't have, no one's is more punishment than another, but I mean it's more dangerous in the fact of every single day there's fighting. So you're gonna get picked on more, I'm saying. Like the fights more everyday violence is gonna happen. Like Rikers Island, you know, shit happens in there every day. That's kind of what I'm trying to explain. The Don jail wasn't like Rikers Island, it's not as big, but on the violence level, it is. And for the inmate, the staff to be scared to come on the range, it was a really, really bad jail. And you know, it's closed down now. And I'm gonna just tell you this: At the Don jail, there was a graveyard. So just put it that way. These jails that I'm talking about literally had graveyards in them. So just think of it that way. The people are there so damn long that the freaking got graveyard there. Okay, so think about it. People don't have graveyards in the regular jails down where you guys are at.
I'm no expert. I know a lot about the West Coast, but I've never seen a graveyard being in like a county jail
But what you
situation.
guys call county jails and what we call jail here in the city is not the same. What we're talking about. Okay.
Yeah, that's good. You're clarifying.
Prison, we call it the penitentiary. Okay, so when you hear me talk about the pen, that's what I'm talking about. Okay, so that's the best way I can explain it. If you go and look it up on Google, they'll try to explain it to you. You know, I go look it up on Google and say, you know, Ontario super jails. Are they prisons? What are prisons? What's the difference between jails and prisons and penitentiaries? And you'll learn a little bit. All right.
Very good way. A very good way to. Let me touch on that really quickly though. Do the super jails have a yard, or is it still like you go out in the concrete box, no yard?
Jail's got no yard. Super jail, the yard is just a four concrete, like four bricked walls in, you know, and
Yeah.
the sky is open, so you get fresh air from the sky. Like, you know, you can't see nothing but brick walls.
Right. So you clarified the next
Places, these are medium max. These aren't some low pussy place. These are medium max. So you know, a 4 yard is max, four or medium max or whatever. Louisville and Collins Bay are medium high, right? The places in freaking that I'm talking about, the super jails are medium max. You understand? So there, you cannot get out of these places, and they are where you could have a person in the cell that's there for a theft under that's going to do 30 days, or you could have a guy that's killed 20 people and he's going to jail for life and he's fucking pissed off that he just lost his trial, and he could come there and kill his cellie if he really wanted to. So these are the places where I'm doing my time.
damn.
Or I did
Hey.
back in the day.
All right. So let's just
Time actually. Sorry, back in the day, that's how I did my time. I mean,
no, I know. All right. So let's head to the last question here. All right. So this is number 5, because you touched up on number 4 with explaining the name of your channel. Did you want to say anything else more about that?
Yeah, and
Why-
that's exactly why it's called Canadian Jail War Stories and not Canadian Penitentiary War Stories or Canadian Prison War Stories. Right? That's exactly why it's called Canadian Jail War Stories. Not going to call it Canadian Super Jail, you know. But anyway, we learned about super jails. We learned a lot today. Right? Go Google
Absolutely.
it, check out, and do your own research.
All right. So let's head to the last question for this episode. Deep question. What is it really like to have your freedom taken away? What is it really like?
Degrading.
Deep down.
Degrading.
Okay.
Feel like an animal in a cage. You know. It's like you're going to court in orange jumpers and chains, and you feel like an animal locked inside of a cage, and you spend your sleepless nights on the range. It's the best way I can explain it.
Helpless, lonely.
Yeah.
Can
It's like you got to have someone on the outside putting money on your books, or your stomach will be touching your back in these places, and nobody's going to care. No one's going to care. You know, bigger dudes are going to want your food. People are going to try to extort you. You know, it's not a fun place. You do not want to be in these places, okay? These places are not for anybody. I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy, okay?
100. And everyone, so this is going to conclude part 4. And if you guys see me smiling or just acting kind of happy, honestly, I love Eddie and I'm just the interviewer here. And I just try to keep it like listening to his stories touches me as well. So never think I'm like not paying attention or it's not a serious topic, because he speaks real. Like Eddie knows
what my answers are going to be. We know what the questions are going to be, but we don't know what the answers are going to be until I spit them off the top of my head.
Yes.
That's why I don't have a notepad in front of me.
Yeah. I got all the notes here. All right, guys.
Here.
He's got it in there. Stay tuned for 5, y'all. And leave a comment. Let us know any suggestions, any questions, or what background you want next, which theme. We appreciate every one of you.
Stay to the poll. Keep putting in your polls and stuff like that. And yeah, stay tuned for tons of content to come out, because we got all kinds of surprises for you guys coming up in the next month. All right?
Yeah. Bye.
Check you on the next one, everybody.